started, guys. Okay. So yes, today let's start practicing. So couple of lines of code which we did yesterday. Let's try to repeat and understand again. So first we learned about print, isn't it? We said that print is a function that is used to display or print the content onto the screen. If you want to show something, you have to use print, right? And we saw print where we gave some expression like 3 plus 5 into 2 minus 5 plus 100, right? What do you think this will give us? Can you evaluate this for me? $108? Yes, no. Right? 108, right? It evaluated the expression for us. Now, if I use same thing in quotation, okay? Now, if I run it, you get exactly the same thing. So what you write, you get it, right? This is what print does. Print's job is to display onto the screen. It can evaluate or it can give content as it is. You can club two things together. By that, what I mean is, okay, I can say this, okay, equal to. So now when I run, it will show as equal to, right? And I'll copy this entire stuff and paste it here. So here you have one value and you got another value here, right? And you can put them together in print. So how do you put them together? You put them together using comma. So comma is to combine two different values together, okay? So it's combining your left side and right side together, okay? Left side is quotation, so we're getting exactly as it is, and right side is evaluated. So it's getting evaluated and putting down for us, right? Now, it doesn't matter, okay, what you give here or what you give here, because comma is like separating them apart. So before comma, you can have specific set of values. After comma, you can have specific set of values. So when I run it, you get whatever is there before comma and then space. Comma will also give space. So Python is actually giving space, okay, in place of comma, and that is followed by the expression that you have here. Okay, so you're getting an expression 108. Okay, and you can have multiple things here. I can say, I can copy paste here and say, hello 5 into 2, right? You can have any number of what we say is parameters. These values are called as parameters. So you have a function takes parameters, okay? But before I talk about parameter, I'll want to introduce this sign called hash. Hash is for comment, okay? It means whatever I write here, it will be totally ignored by the program. So this is called comment, and comments are for us, for human being, for us to write any comment, okay? This is called comment, and this is for humans, okay? Not for computer. So when Python sees that, okay, there is a hash, it will ignore, it will not even try to read or try to understand. It will not even try to understand. That's the purpose of comment. So I can generally, when you're doing programming, you're supposed to write comments. One, you might revisit your program after a few weeks, few months, and you might forget what you did, why you did, right? So it's always good that it will be a reminder for yourself of what you did. And at the same time, let's say, generally your programs will also be used by other people. Your programs will also be used by other people. So they will know what you have done, what logic you have done. Okay. So we should use comments. So far we have heard of print, comments, and parameters. So what are parameters? Yes. Correct. Comma will translate into space. Single space. Yes. Hmm.
And if I reformat the file, if I click on that option, it will just add one space and then.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. When I'm doing it, you don't do it parallelly with me. Okay. You ask me such questions in the next class. Okay. One, because I'm already talking about it, right? And your mind will go into your program, not in my program. Okay. Okay. So now coming to this point. Okay. See, every edit. So we are using editors, right? Different editors have different ways of interpreting. Okay. Now, for example, see, Python is base. Python.exe is the base. And editors that we use, whether it's PyCharm or Colab or any editor, is built on Python. And developers of that programming language, of that IDE, they actually, give you, they try to make it more interesting. They try to make it more user friendly. Okay. For Python, it doesn't matter because ultimately execution is by Python. Okay. So whether I give space here or not, or I give, unlimited space, it doesn't matter for Python. But maybe, what some people might actually give you a message saying, okay, you have given too much of space. So that is a tool dependent, but nothing to do with Python, because here when I go and run it, absolutely no change in the output. Okay, but keep in mind that you cannot give a space before writing your first character. So before P, even one single space will throw error. This is wrong. This is error. Okay, we got as indentation error. Okay, but after writing this, it doesn't matter whether you give space or not. Okay, now see, this is giving me a gray line. This is what you're saying. Okay, it's giving me a gray line saying there's a lot of space, but that's not a error. Okay, it is nothing to do with error. Okay, Python is fine with it. Just it's a PyCharm is trying to be little friendly, telling you that, okay, there is a multiple spaces after operator, which is not wrong, which is not incorrect. Okay, so do you really mean to use that? I said yes. Okay, it's fine, then it's okay. Okay. Yes, exit code 0. Okay, so let's look at this. Process finished with exit code. Process finished means your program has ended. Okay, if we do something which keeps on going, right, you won't see. So when you see this process finished, that means your program has finished. This is an indication saying that, program has ended. Exit code 0. Exit code 0 means without any problem, without any error. Okay, but if you get 1 or 2 or -1 or -2, then there is a error. Okay, so process finished. Your program is done, completed. Exit code 0, 0, exit code 0 means no error, as expected. Okay, now if I had put plus here, I mean space here, okay, you see there's an error here, right? Now your process finished, your program is finished, but exit code non-zero, 1. Okay, so when you say something other than 0, it means something has gone wrong. It has not completed as expected. It has completed, but not as expected. There is some error, there is some problem which you need to fix it. Okay, so it's good to see 0. Any other number, you have to revisit. You have to go back to the program and see what happened. Okay, Python, I just said, is very well documented, so it will even tell you. Okay, this is the file. Okay, June2023.py at line number 2. So there's a problem in this file at line number 2. So this is my line number, right? PyCharm is giving me 1 to 11 here. Line number 2 has a problem. Now, what problem it is? Indentation error. Indentation means the number of spaces that you give before writing your first character. For next few classes, we will not use indentation. Okay, it has its own significant meaning, which we'll do later. Okay, so for now, you cannot give a space here, but Doesn't matter whether you give space here or here. Now you see, if I start giving space here in the quotation, if I'm giving space in the quotation, that means I'm including space in quotation and output will also have space. Okay, so if I say T here, okay, in quotation, if you give, it reads that space. No, I mean, space is there. I just gave T to show you that there's a space here. Now, whether you don't know whether the space is there or not, right? You understood, right? It's a blank space and it goes with white. So you will not see the space. Okay, to show you that there is a space. Okay, this space is coming because we added a space here. So I gave T to show you that there is a space. Okay, but here it doesn't matter. So so these are a few things we need to understand. So between operators, it doesn't matter how many space you give or you don't give. Okay. Okay. But when you are performing, like for example, print, if I give space here, then it's no longer a print, isn't it? So this will give error. Red is what we need to worry about. Okay. Red means your error. Okay. So, okay. So we have seen about spaces. We have seen about indentation, right? Yes, yes. Okay, we have a topic we will do towards the end called error handling. So we will talk about those errors then. Okay. Indentation is mandatory in Python. Unlike other, in Java, if you give space here, it is not going to throw error. C++ will not throw error. Okay. Only Python will throw error. Okay. So this is a very important part of Python programming, and it's one of the reasons why it is simple to use. Okay, so I said the number of values that you give here is called as parameters. And how do you know how many parameters it has? Based on this comma. Okay, so if you have a values before comma, it is one parameter. After comma, it is another parameter. So you have two parameters here. You have three or four parameters. 3 comma means 4 parameters you have. So we say how many parameters can you pass to print? Any number of parameters. Python can handle any number of parameters. It doesn't matter for print in Python. Okay, so this is how you do simple print. Now, there's something called as logical line and physical line. Okay, now see here. This is called physical line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Physically, this is line number 2. What you see here. Physically, line number 2. Logically, this is our first program, right? So logically, this is line number 1. Correct or not? Because I have not given anything in line number 1. So line number 1 is not a logical line. There's nothing there. Okay, so if you see the output is coming in line number 1 only. Because this is blank, this is nothing. Right? If there's nothing, okay. Now instead, if I give print, and I don't give anything inside, just print, open and close. Now when you run it, you see there's a space here, bottom. So this is your logical line. So mostly your logical and physical line will be same. Okay, maybe sometimes it could be different. Now, so now if you see here, we have how many logical lines? 5. And how many physical lines? 9. Okay, so will physical line will always be more or logical line will be more? Equal to, greater than, equal to, or equal to, less? Which will be more? Logical line will be more or physical line will be more? Logical will be more, physical will be more. In this case, yes, physical line is more. But you can also write program like this, semicolon. Okay, semicolon. Now when you run it, okay, you see there is no change in the output. But what I just did is, I put these 3 lines together as one line. So logically, there are 3 different lines. But I have clubbed them as one line. So one physical line. So it can be both, right? Generally, we don't write like this. We don't write like this, but you can club multiple lines, multiple lines as one using semicolon. Semicolon is important. If you don't put semicolon, these lines will not be together. It will throw error. Okay, so if I delete this semicolon here, and now if I try to run it, see already PyCharm is giving me red line. PyCharm is saying means something is wrong, right? So you have to give semicolon. So semicolon, most of the programming languages is used to terminate the line. C, C++, Java, SQL, Python, R, JavaScript, everywhere. But some languages, what they say is, you don't have to give me semicolon. You don't have to tell me that is the end of line. If you hit enter, I understand it is end of line. So Python is one such language where semicolon is not mandatory. Okay, it is there, but it is not mandatory to use. JavaScript, another language. JavaScript also, you don't have to give semicolon, but if you give also, it's fine. Okay, so if I can give semicolon here, indicating end of line, I can give semicolon here, absolutely no problem. Okay, okay, but if it is not having any effect, why to give? Right. Okay, so Python says if you hit enter, then I know that you are trying to change the line and getting into next line. Okay, so this is what we say, logical and physical line. Okay. All good so far? Now let's increase our program complexity by a little bit. Okay, now here I say print 5 plus 3, correct? Now let's say later I want to do 5 plus 4. So I have to go back and delete and say 5 plus 4. Instead, what you can do is you can define variables. Now we're talking about word called variable. What is opposite of variable? Opposite of variable? Anything? Opposite of variable is constant. Something which is anything. Okay. So here also, okay, in Python also we say constant means which does not change its value. So if I say 5 plus 4, it will remain 5 plus 4 forever. Okay, it will not change its value, right? I cannot say take 5, assume it is 10. 5 means 5 only. So these are called constants, right? Now, variables are something which can change its value. So how do you define in Python? You say value 1, okay, equal to 50. So when I say value 1 equal to 50, okay, I am defining a variable called value 1. So when you say something equal to something, I'm defining it as a value. Now, how do you know it's a variable, not something else? See, function will always, a name with bracket open and close is function. So if I say print, I have to give bracket open and close. But if I'm using a variable, there's no bracket open and close. So if you have some text without quotation and no bracket, it is a variable. If you have some name with bracket, it is function. If you have text in quotation, it is string, text value, right? So far, okay, what we have seen is we have seen name with bracket. These are function. Name any text with bracket. Moment you see bracket, it means it's a function. The moment you see without any bracket, it's a variable. Okay, you see something in quotation like hello in quotation, it is text. Okay, so we'll talk about text later, but let's first talk about variables and functions for now, or in specific print function, inbuilt function. Yes, yes.
Line by line. Is there a way if I want to check
Not in PyCharm. Okay, so what if question here is I want to run only 11th line. So what you can do is you can move this to another file and do it. Okay, that's so not in PyCharm. Okay, you can't do that. No, it's not disadvantage, you know. Mhm.
check that.
Uh-huh. Correct, 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 correct. Okay. So in PyCharm, that's the thing. You have to do that way. Okay. For that, notebooks, Jupyter Notebook, Colab, there you can break it, but not in editors. Your PyCharm is your editor, your VS Code is editor, Visual Studio is editor, not there. But in notebooks, we call them as notes. Like Jupyter is a notebook. Okay, there you can. You can even save the output immediately. In the Google Colab, you could see that output was just below the content. Here, everything is below, right? Yeah. Okay. No, same. Okay. So we'll talk about it. Okay, maybe towards the end of today's session. Okay, the meaning of text and string. So in Python, we call it as string, not text. Text is general usage. Okay. So yes. So now I said value 1 equal to 50. Okay, I'm defining a variable called value 1. And what does that mean? What does this mean? It means let's take, just like in mathematics, you say x equal to 5, y equal to 5. What does that mean? We are saying, let's assume x and its value be 5. The same, exactly the same thing here. I'm saying, let's take value 1 and assume its value is 50. Now, when I say value 1 print, okay, it will print 50 for us. Okay, since value 1 is without quotation, it is trying to evaluate. Okay, and then, okay, it sees that, oh, value 1 is 50. So it is evaluating to be 50. Now, I can do same thing here. Print value 1 equal to value 1. You see, this I'm putting as quotation. So when I run it now, it's going to give me as it is, right? Value 1 equal to as it is. And then you have 50 coming because of this value 1. So this is an example of using a variable name here. Okay. Now I can change the variable name to value 1 equal to 100. So I have assigned value 50 to value 1, right? Here I have assigned. In line number 10, I have assigned. So till I don't change the value, it will carry value 50. So I'm changing the value 1 value in line number 14. So from 10 to 13, it's going to be 50. Okay. Now here I made 100. So now if I say value 1 after 14, if I say, then it's going to be 100. Right? So that's what's called variable. It keeps changing its value. You define 50, now you define 100. You can define hello. Next time, I can define it as 100 equal to hello. Okay, I'm defining a text value to value 1. How do you know it's text value? Because I put it in quotation. Now when you print it, it says value 1 equal to hello. Okay. Okay. How many such values are there? Okay. So next topic that comes to us for discussion is basic types of data. Basic means which can store only one value. It can store only one value. So here, okay, we use function called as type. So we are learning second function. Okay, apart from print, second function is type. Okay, so I'll say value 1 equal to 50, and now I say type of value 1. So value 1 is 50. That means 50 is assigned to value 1. So value of the variable, value one variable is 50. Now, when I say type of value one, it gives me the data type of the data. So type will tell you what kind of value is in value one. Value one is a variable, but what kind of value is in variable? Okay, that information type will tell you. So when I run it, it tells me, but you don't see it on the screen, because to see it on the screen, we have to use print. Okay, so I'm going to say print and you run it again. So it says class int, class integer. Let's understand few things here. Type is a function which gives us the data type. Point number one. It gives, but we can't see it because somebody has to print it. So who's the somebody? Print. We know that print will print onto screen. So we have to use print. Now I have used print and type in the same example, in the same line. Okay. When you use it in the same line, okay, it means that whichever is innermost, that has to be evaluated first. Now, this is true with anything, whether you are using Excel or C, C++, Java. When you have function inside a function, inside a function, inside a function, first innermost, then the outer, and finally the outermost function will be called, isn't it? So in this case, I cannot say type of print, but I can say print of type. So generally this bracket we refer as off bracket, in mathematics also we say off, right? OF off. So if I say print off, you assume that I'm talking about the bracket. Okay, so print bracket type value one. So first type is telling us what is the value of value one, what is the type of value one, and that type is now printed onto the screen. Okay, any question, guys? Sorry, I had to mute somebody. All good? Because I'm not printing the value, right? I'm printing the type of the value. So type has converted into class int, and that is being printed onto the screen. I'm not printing the value. How 22nd line output will come, but are we printing here? Defining it, right? So when you print it only, you will see onto the screen. If you don't print it, you will not see. Okay, so value one is here, but we are not printing it, so you won't get it. Okay, we are printing type of value one, so you are going to get type of value one. Okay, so that is one thing, type, then print of type, function inside a function. Then you also need to understand this class int. Okay, output is class int. Okay, int stands for integer. Okay, int stands for integer. And what does integer mean? Integer means your minus infinity to plus infinity, any value between minus infinity to plus infinity, that's called integer in mathematics. Okay, without decimal part, that is important. Without decimal part, without the float part, without decimal. So minus 99999, okay, minus 87 whatever. Okay, 0 is also an integer, 1 is also an integer, 100,000 is also integer, all these are integer. Integer means numbers without decimal point. Numbers without decimal points are called integer, and in mathematics it is represented as int, we say int. Okay, then what is class? Okay, now class is something advanced topic which we will get into details towards the end of our course, but understand this for now. Everything is treated as class and object in Python. Okay, so integer is also treated as a class. When you say class, class means it has its own set of properties. So when I say apple, right, you understand what is the meaning of apple. Why? Because you have read it once. And now when you read it once, Now you understand, okay, red apple shape is this, the taste of apple is this. If I tell you I'm playing cricket with apple, will you believe it? You can't play cricket with apple, right? So playing cricket is not a property of apple. I'm just telling you in that way. So everything in class and in Python is treated as class and object. That means it has its own set of properties. Okay. Even the basic type, integer is the most basic data type. It is also treated as class and objects. Okay. So for now, it is good to know that class will have some properties. Okay. We'll get to the classes later. We will actually create our own set of classes later. Okay. So for now, I would say just forget about the word class. Focus on int. We'll come back to it once we are done with the basic of Python. We'll talk about class in some time, towards the end of our discussion. So you have type print, type of value 1, you have class int. Okay. Integer is a basic data type and it covers numbers. It's a numeric data type, number, values minus and plus and zeros without decimal point. Okay, now let's see what happens. I go here and now I say 50.0. I've said 50.0. Now you run it. What do you get? Float. Okay, it's called float. Exactly. Okay, so float are the numeric values with decimal point. 50.0, 0.0, 50.999. These are all examples of float. So float is also a number with decimal point. Float is also a number with decimal point. Okay, with decimal point. So example of float, FLOAT. Example of float is like 0.0, minus 9.0, 89.7, or 8. These are all, or maybe you can say 777. These are all examples of your float data type. Okay, the number with decimal values are called float. So how many data types have we seen so far? Int and float. Okay, what all things? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, automatically Python will take care of it. Okay, so now 5.3, 5 plus 3 will give you, okay, I'll show you this. If I say 5 plus 3, it will give you 8. And when you say 5 plus 3.0, let's say, it will give you 8 plus 8.0. Okay, so whatever you give, based on that, output will be created. Okay, so okay, so we'll talk about conversion of data type from one form to another. We'll see, then we'll see what is implicit and explicit. Explicit is where you are forcing it to change the data type. Implicit is automatically getting converted. So if I do the data type of this is float. 5 plus 3.0 is float. Okay, it's called implicit conversion because based on the values that we are using, it is converting into float. In this case, it is going to be integer. Sorry, float. The previous case is going to be integer. Okay. So, okay. Now, question is, what all things have we done so far today? You tell me. Indentation, semicolon, variables, int, float, and type. Okay, so these are the things that we have done so far. Okay, Now, the third type is another numeric type, which is called as complex numbers. Okay. Now, what is complex number? What is square root of -1? Square root of -1. Square root of 1, 1. -1, okay, is called as, generally in lower classes, they'll tell you square root of negative numbers are not possible. Okay, later you will see, okay, the square root of -1 are called complex numbers. And in mathematics, we write as I, 5i, 6i. In Python, we write as j. Okay, in Python, okay, okay, how do I write? Okay, I'll simply say Python example. Better. Okay, so I'm going to say num1 equal to 5j. Num1 equal to 5j. And now when I do here, print the type of j, here num1. See that it says complex class complex. These are your complex numbers. Okay, good thing is that, you know, we are not going to study this anymore. Okay, I did not close the bracket here. Yeah, of course we can. We can print num1. Okay, now let me, okay, tell me one thing. If I say print written wrong, but print num1 into num1. So what does that mean? Num1 into num1? 5j into 5j, correct? We are multiplying two complex number, 5j into 5j. So what do you think the answer will be? 5j into 5j is 5 square j square, correct? 5j into 5j is 5 into 5, j into j. 5 into 5 is 5 square, j into j is j square, right? So 5 square is 25 and j square is -1. Square root of -1 is j, right? So j square has to be -1. So 25 into -1 is what? -25. So output is C, -25 plus 0j. Now, since the number itself is a j, that means complex number, output also has to be complex number. That's why it has added 0 to it. -25 plus 0 is like, 5.0. Now 5.0 is same as 5. Okay, but we added to, we added to okay. So since we are since we have started with integer number, output should also be an integer value, right? So when you start with a complex number, output cannot be a non-complex number. So to make 25, minus 25 is integer value. To make 25 as a complex number, we have added 0J. Please, can you go on mute, please, if you're not talking? Okay. Okay. So print, no problem. Physics, okay, uses complex numbers. Okay. So we are not going to use it. We have just seen it today for the first time. And for us, this is our last time that we are going to use. Okay. We are not going to use complex numbers anymore after this. Okay. So today is our last day of talking about complex number. We will not use it, but you need to understand that among the basic data type, we do have complex numbers, and complex numbers are used to represent square root of negative. Okay. These are called as complex numbers. Okay. So this is how we use. So these are your basic numeric data types, numbers. So numbers can be integer, float, or complex. Okay. Now comes the fourth type. So fourth type is called as string, str. This stands for string, which actually means text. Okay, string text. So for example, if I say num1 equal to, if I say num1 equal to hello in quotation, okay, it becomes string. Okay. So now if I say print type of num1 class string. Now you say, okay, let me repeat it a few times. Num1 equal to hello. Now here you say num1 equal to single quote 5.6. Okay. Double triple quote, but 3 times. Again, so again you say how are you, right? Now how are you? Okay, in what did I do? Okay, let me make it triple quote. Okay, so either you use double quote, or you use single quote, or you use double triple quote, or you use single quote triple times. All of these will give you string output. So all these 4 are the valid ways of handling string, or all these 4 ways are valid ways of handling string values. Difference is, okay, between triple and single. So whether you use double, these two, line number 42 and 45, okay, they behave exactly the same. There's no difference between those two. Okay. And there is no difference between 47 and 49. When you use triple quote, there's no difference between whether you use single triple or double triple. When you use single quote, doesn't matter whether you are using double triple, single double or single single. But there is some difference between single and triple. Okay. Your single quote, okay, your single quote, okay, when you say single, it means both double and single both, okay, is one liner. That means if you have to save one line of information, you can use all 4. Okay, beauty here in triple quote is you can hit enter here. And now if I say print num1, print num1. So as it is how you print here, or you give the values here. However is given different line and from beginning. U is in different line, but there's a gap here. Same way it got printed here. So if you're handling a multi-line text, then the single and double quote will not work. Then you have to use triple quote. So triple quote is used to handle multi-line text. Okay. Otherwise, everything else remains same. So let's see here. Okay. So if you are using single double and you want to print in two different lines, okay, doesn't mean that it will give output in two different lines. Output will always be one line, but you can give something like this, a quotation and end quotation slash. You can give like this. But if I print it, okay, so now one, right? Just to give it some mark, I'm using that. You see here, hello. Hello got printed in one line. Though we wrote hell and O in different lines, still it got added in single line. So using single or double quote, you can't print it two different lines. Okay. So this is your fourth data type called string. And we'll see the properties of all of these in some time. But first, let's understand the different data. All good so far? Now, the last basic data type. So at basic data type, there are 5 in Python. What are those? Any idea? What are those? What we have seen so far at least? Tell me, guys. And it's for all on the phone as well. Just keep be in the class, okay? So what all things we have seen? String, okay, str, right? The fifth one is called bool. This stands for Boolean. It is to check true or false only. Okay, so if I say val1 equal to true, and you say print type of print type of val1, you get bool. Okay, see, this is also a text, but this is not in quotation. Why? Because if you put in quotation, it becomes a string. To differentiate, to tell you that it is not a string, this is something different, we have not put in quotation. So you have to remember that when you put something without quotation, you can only do it for number or for Boolean. And how do you know it's Boolean? It has to be same spelling. First letter capital and rest small. So for true, it's going to be T capital and rest small. False, it's going to be F capital and rest small. You cannot use mix. You cannot use true and false together. Okay. Okay. If you use all capital or all small, then it is no longer Boolean. It becomes a string. Yes. This is a spelling. Okay. T capital, rest small. You cannot change the spelling. If you change the spelling, it becomes different. Okay. it will look for either it is integer, sorry, look for whether it is variable, function, right? So when if you mean bool, it has to be T capital rest small or F capital and rest small. Then only you know it is true and false. Always in quotation. Yes. This is Boolean. No, it assumes that it could be a variable or a function. Okay, variables also written like that. But when you run it, it will throw error because it is not able to find the variable. Okay, so you can use it. You can declare a variable with that name. Okay, but if you have not declared a variable, then it's going to throw error. It will throw error. Okay, so we have 5 basic data types. We have got a lot more. We are going to do few more later. But at a basic level, these are 5 data types. That means it can store only one single values. Okay, I'll take break for 30 seconds. I want you to just recollect what we have done so far, and then we will continue. Okay, just 30 seconds, 1 minute, just to reflect what we have done. And let me know if you have any questions. Just try to recollect, okay, what we have done. All good, everyone? Shall we move ahead?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to move this away to new file, and we'll start with something different now. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's say I have, okay, so how do you name the variables? Okay, we spoke about variables, right? We spoke about 5 types of data also. But you need to understand that when you're looking at variable names, should always begin with number. Okay, so variable names in Python should always begin with number. Okay, number, what did I say? Alphabet. Okay, variable name should always begin with alphabet, not with numbers. Okay, if you begin with number, it'll give you error. So if I say 1 num equal to 10, it'll give me error. Okay, and then after this, it doesn't matter. You can give, it accepts alpha bets, numbers, or rather digits, okay, and underscore. Underscore is the only special character that you can use in variable names. Okay, okay, it's the only thing that you can use in variable names. So I can say num1 or num underscore 1. I cannot say num.1 or num and 1 or num space 1. Those things are not allowed. So okay, you can only use alphabets, that is A to Z, A to Z, capital and lower both, numbers 0 to 9, and underscore. Underscore is the only special character that you can use in naming a variable. Okay, so remember this in mind. Just these two operations. Now, how do you? So this is about the correctness. Okay, If I don't follow this rule, my variable will not work. Apart from that, we have some suggestions. Okay. First suggestion is that name should be easy to read and understand. Okay, so for example, I say A equal to 5, B equal to 10. Print, or rather I'll say C equal to A plus B. And I say print. Okay, this is one way of doing addition of two numbers. I'm doing adding two numbers, 15, great. I can also do this. So I'll say okay, and I will say C is A is this plus B. This will also give us 15, correct? Now, third type is is it equal to 1? Okay, num1 equal to 10, num2 equal to 5, and total equal to num1 plus num2. Okay, now I'll say print total. So if you look here, all three are doing same work, yes or no? All three are taking two numbers, 10 and 5, and then they are trying to add them together. Now, out of all these three options, which one you think is a better way of doing two numbers, adding two numbers?
The first one.
The first one?
Yes, sir.
Why? Why do you think so? Okay. See, in my opinion, see, for Python, machine doesn't matter. For computer, it doesn't matter. Okay. It can evaluate all the three. Okay. But in my opinion, your third option is a better option. Why? Because see, when you do this third one, you know what you're trying to do. The variable name should give you a message beforehand. Num1, okay, I'm dealing with number 1. Oh, num2, I'm dealing with second number. Total means I have to add. So when you read the variable, okay, it gives you a message. Of course, simplicity, first one is better. A equal to 5, B, C, very simple, A, B, C. But when you do it, you're not getting any meaning out of it. Now, if I say total, and if I do num1 into num2, if I say total equal to num1 into num2, you will come and ask me, you said total, are you sure you mean into? Right? But other two cases, you will not get that doubt. Other two cases, you will not get that doubt. So use this, we call them mnemonics, okay? So use variable names to give message to your reader. Self-explanatory. See, you will do your program and you will come back to the same program after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You will forget what you did 6 months back. You have written the program and yourself, you will forget what you have done. Okay. Imagine if somebody else, some other developer has to work on your code. For Python, all the three are same, doesn't differentiate. Okay. But obviously, second one is the bad option. You know, it's very difficult to even understand, right? First one also not so good because, okay, it is good to copy and paste, but okay, it doesn't give you the message. Okay, so what we recommend is use third type, where we're looking at self, you will know, okay, total means you can predict that it's going to be adding two numbers. right? Did I make sense? Okay. Now let's take one example. So I'm going to move this away. Okay, let's do something like this. Cost of each pen equal to 50. Total pens equal to 25. So total cost of pens will be cost of each pen into total pens, correct? This is it. Now I need to print it in a, see, I can simply say total cost is total cost. I can simply say print total cost equal to total cost, right? I can say simply like that. But better way of putting the content is something like this. Okay, print cost of each pen is cost of each pen. So the cost of pens will be total cost, right? So now when I run it, you see cost of each pen is 50. So the cost of 25 pens will be 1250. Looks better, right? Now you go and change it to 59. You change it to, let's say, 15. Okay, doesn't matter, right? This output will take the latest value and give you the outcome. 59, 15, and 15 to 15, if you calculate, you will get 885 only. Okay, this is a better way of printing or giving the content. Okay, now the problem here is, okay, there are so many times you have to close the bracket, again, comma, close the bracket, comma, right? Because this is print and each of them are parameters, correct? So you have to, so this is text parameter. So close the bracket, comma. If it is one or two things, it's easy. Okay. But when you have to do it multiple times, it can become little difficult. So Python says there's an option here. You can handle it with one single print, one single quotation. You don't have to give comma. Okay. That's what I want to show you right now. So this is called as format string. So we have to put F before. Okay. Above output using format string. Okay, it's called F string also. F string or format string. F. Now you put your output that you want as it is here. Okay. Now if I print it, you'll get it, right? But if I change the value to 16, obviously you'll still get 15 only, right? Which is not really the same way doing that. So what you do, instead of using this variables, replace this with curly bracket. Replace this with all the variables which you need to automate. Replace this with curly bracket. So this one I wanted to replace curly bracket. This one I want to replace curly bracket. This one I want to replace curly bracket. Now within the curly bracket, you give the variable's name that you want to actually print in place of the value. Since the instead of 885, I want to print total cost. Okay, in place of this one, cost of, so the cost of 16 pen, right? Total pens is what I want to print. Okay, and this is your cost of each pen. So if you run it, you get exactly same answer. Command, yes. No, it's not a function. Only function will have bracket. Okay, now same thing if I do without F, see the difference. Now if I don't put F, what happens? It will simply print as it is. Cost of each pen, curly bracket, variable, okay, copy paste, basically. F is saying pause, whatever is there inside in curly bracket, I need to replace that with value. What you don't give in curly brackets is printed as it is. What you give in the curly bracket is replaced. What you give in the curly bracket is replaced. That's the beauty. That's how we do print statement. Clear, everyone? Now it's up to you. Same thing you can do, like line number 5 and 7. They're doing same thing. It's up to your personal choice whether you want to use 5 or 7. Generally, when I have one variable to handle, I will use first method. And when I have more than one variable to handle, I use second method. Okay, but those two options are there. It's for you to use it the way you want to use it. Okay. Now, I want to give you some assignments. Okay. And some assignment is WAP, write a program. Okay, that's what WAP means. Write a program to calculate area and perimeter of a rectangular field when length and breadth are given. Okay, so you take some length value, say take some breadth value, and you calculate area and perimeter. Similarly, I want you to calculate, not now, these are assignments. Okay, so you're not supposed to do now. Try to practice. Okay, assignment, calculate area and circumference, let's say, of a circle or circular field when a radius is given. Make sense? Okay. Write a program. Write a program too. Okay. Now let me do something different here. Same thing I'm copying, and let's, instead of pens, okay, let's calculate total cost here. So total pens are given and total cost is given. And you have to calculate cost of each pen. So cost of each pen is total cost, correct, divided by total pens. Okay, so you get this. Answer is 125.00. But if it is division, okay, we have not done division. Division is always decimal, irrespective of data type. Yes, this will always give you a decimal value. Okay, this will always give you a decimal value. Okay, this is called implicit conversion. Automatically it's converting into decimal, even though both the numbers are integer. Otherwise you lose the information, isn't it? Now, if I make this as 1 here, what happens? And if I make this as 3. Okay, so now you're getting this 125.1875. Now, if you're dealing with currency, right, then you can have only a maximum of 2 decimal point, right? You don't want 4 or 3 or 10 decimal point. Okay. So you can also do formatting here. Okay. Cost. So this is cost of each pen, colon. Okay. So within curly bracket, you have to put colon. Left of colon is the variable name and right of colon is your formatting, okay, which I'm going to give now. Okay. So colon, left of colon is the variable name and right of colon is the formatting. So I want only one decimal place. So 0.1f. I wanted a float value, but I want only one decimal place after point, colon 0.1f. Round it off. So you get 2, 125.2. You want to have 2 decimal places, you give 2 decimal places. Okay, you get 19. This is the formatting part. You can use, with colon, you can format in formatting. So when you're talking about this curly bracket, okay, so curly bracket we use to give a value. Okay, so curly bracket will replace the variable name with its value. Curly bracket will replace the variable name with its value. Okay, okay, which is good. Now, if I want to format it, so I'll give colon. So colon is like demarcation. Left of colon, variable, right of colon, formatting we will give. So formatting will always be on the right of colon. How do we format? Okay, in this case, I want only 2 decimal place after point. So 0.2f. F is for float. Point is decimal point. 2 is to say that 2 decimal point after 2 places after decimal point. For float, what formatting will do in float? Number of places, right? Earlier you had 4. You see here, you have 4 places. Now when I say 2, it formatting up to 2 places only. Right? I can say 1, I can say 3, I can say 0. 0 means 0 decimal places. So you are looking at formatting the decimal places. No. It will give the value. So for example, if I give total pens as 3 and this as 100, so what is 100 by 3? 3.33333333 goes on. So it is not a string. It is calculating the value and giving you. Right? And second one, you're controlling 2 decimal places only I want. So it's giving you 2 decimal places only. Rounding off to 2 decimal place. Okay. Yeah. Now let's take another example. This time, okay, so these variables, you can write them in different lines or you can write them together also. You can write them together also. How you can put them, I'll tell you. Name, comma, country, comma, position. So these are 3 variables: name, country, position. These are 3 variables: name, comma, country, comma, position. Now I'm saying Virat, India. Okay. Let's say opener, I say. Okay. So it means name will take value Virat, country will take value India, position will take value opener. Okay. And if I want to print something like this, I can say print a format name. Okay. Player, or I can say something like this. Player name, right? Plays for the country as an position, right? As at right? So not only numbers, you can also use text also to do that, right? We have seen string. So if I run it, it will tell you player Virat plays for the country India at opener. Okay. Now let's see. Now I copy and paste same stuff. This time I have okay, country, I say Australia. Or let me put New Zealand only directly, that also will work. Okay, and I say here okay. Now when you run it, player Virat plays to country, right? Because these names are bigger, country, everything is bigger, it is going extending beyond the number of characters what we have used for previous one. But let's say you want to format the output display such that name is exactly below name, country is below country, and position is below position. Okay, you want to format that way. Okay. So what did I say? Format is always colon. To format, you are using colon. Okay, so colon and colon. Okay, how many places do you want to reserve for name? Let's say for name, want to reserve 15 spaces. For country, want to reserve okay, so I say 15 here, and here let me put 15 here also, and here also let me put 15. So what I'm doing, if it is text, I'm assigning 15 places. I'm assigning 15 places for name, 15 places for country, and 15 places for position. Okay, or let me make it 20, it'll more look interesting. So I'm saving 15 places for name, 20 for country, and 20 for position. Okay, now this Python doesn't know, okay, you have 15 spaces, but in this 15, where to put Virat? Should Virat be put in the beginning? So you get first position, second position, third position, fourth and fifth, and then the rest empty. Or Virat should be put in the last 5 positions so that first 10 positions are empty. Or should we put in the between 5, middle 5, so that 5 spaces are left on both the sides. We call it as alignment. We use in Word document alignment. Whether you want to do left alignment or right alignment or central alignment. So we use these symbols. What does this say? Greater, and apart from that, go towards right. Arrow towards right, saying go towards right. That means you do right alignment. Okay, I want to perform okay. So here I say left, go towards left. Center, go up. You have this shift or this, what do you call? Up caret sign, up arrow. On 6 keyboard, key 6 you see, right? So this is like going up. This is for central alignment. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll copy and paste here again, and I can replace this entire print here. Okay. Now I run it. Tell me what happened. What do you notice here? Tell me, what do you notice here? Correct? So Virat is only 5-letter word, and we have assigned 15 letters. And we are saying there alignment go right. So in 15 places, Virat is on the rightmost side, right aligned. Same thing happened with the next name, second name. I'm saying go right. So though that name may be 9-letter, right, or 10 letters, 15 minus 9 is 6, right? Left on the left, spaces on the left. You got text. I'm saying push, go towards right. Then you have country. Country we say central aligned, right? So central aligned means both the side gap will be there. You're putting in the center, okay? And if there are odd number of spaces, it will have more on the right, less on the left. So let's say 9 spaces are left. So 4 will be on the left side, 5 will be on the right side. If 9 spaces has to be accounted for, 9 blank spaces, 4 will be on the left, 5 will be on the right. So this is called a central aligned. This is what happened. You see, India is smaller, New Zealand is bigger. So India has more spaces on both the sides. And then last you have left alignment. Okay, so whatever blank spaces is there, that is on the right side. Values are on the left side. Okay, so this is how you can do formatting for string. So when you talk about for float, it is about handling the number of decimal places. If it is about text, it is about doing left or right alignment. Okay, this is how you can handle left and right alignment. Formatting. Okay, with that we kind of complete, we complete one level. Okay, this is a basic beginner level we have completed. Now we have to go to the next level. How much time we have? 30, half an hour, right? Okay, we'll do simple one. Okay, because initially I don't want to give you too much of stuff. We'll do one more concept and we will end. But okay, I want somebody to repeat what we have done so far today from the beginning. Input function. People on the call are silent. Okay, so we began with input, right? Then we spoke about variables. We spoke about variable names. We spoke about 5 basic data types. Okay, integer, float, complex, string, and boolean. And then we got down to print. So in print with formatting. Okay, so we have seen print with formatting. So we are formatting text data as well as format data. Yes, that is in F string. Okay, so in F string we use colon and curly bracket. Okay, as I said, with this we complete kind of level 1. Now we need to move to level 2. Okay, so let's, okay, and don't forget we have assignments here, guys. So use that assignment as well. Yes. Okay, so next we'll talk about what we call as operators. Operators in Python. Operators, see, we now know the data types. Okay, we know it is integer, float, string. Operators means what operations you can perform on these values. What operations you can perform on these values. Okay, this is what operators mean. What operation can you perform on this? Okay, so when we talk about integer or text values, right, we perform operators like arithmetic operators. Okay, operations. Then we have other operations which we'll see next week. These are your relational, okay, logical membership. Okay, we'll see next week. Okay, this is operators we'll do and we'll end it here. So arithmetic operators means mathematical operators. We're talking about mathematical operators. Mathematical operators are plus, minus, into, division. Very clear, right? Plus, minus, into, division. Apart from that, we have integer division. This is integer division. Then you have double star, which is power. And then which exponential we call it. Then you have percentage. Though we write percentage, we say modulus, and this is for remainder. Okay, so if I define num1 equal to 56 and num2 equal to 3, now let's start doing it. Print num1 plus num2, right? Easy, I think everybody knows. What is num1 plus num2?
59.
Right, 5959, exactly. Oops, sorry. Okay, okay. Now if I replace this with, I didn't get copied. If I replace this with minus,
53.
5353, yep. If I replace this with multiplication, you need few more extra seconds, but take it and tell me. 168, yes. And if I do division, what do you get? Okay, 18.6666, right? Okay, so these are basic operation. Now, if I do integer division, you only get the integer part from here. 18, yes, you get only 18. Okay, if I do percentage here, okay, you get remainder, so you get only this part. So if you say 18 into 3, what do you get?
Remainders.
54, right? And what is left is 2. So remainder, it'll give you remainder, which is 2. You'll get 2 here. Everybody understands the remainder, right? In division. So when you divide a number, okay, the number of times that it's perfectly dividing is what you get here, integer division. And when it is not perfectly divisible, then the remainder that is left is your modulus. Your modulus, which is 2. Okay, so this is 18 is your integer division, 2 is your modulus, and power is like 56 to the power 3. That is star star. So 56 into 56 into 56 is 175616. Okay. Now let's say if I want to find square root of 100, what do I find square root of 100? 100 you have square root of 100 is 2. Okay, square root is what? 1 by 2. 10 to the power 4 is 10 star star 4. Fourth root of 10 will be 1 by 4. power of 1 by 4. So here power of 1 by 2. So I will put 1 by 2 in bracket because I want it to perform 1 by 2 first and then to the power. Yes. So you should get 10 here. Square root is simply 1 by n. Okay. So you are able to get these values. These are your arithmetic operators, these 8 operators. Okay. We'll stop here for today. Okay. I think we have done a lot of things right. We'll stop here. Please practice and we'll see you next Saturday with some additional work as well.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Why didn't we import the math